He'll reset. Nowitzki again for the lead. Bang!
What up, Mavs fans? Welcome into All Things Mavs. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that. And if you hated the Mavs loss to the Utah Jazz, then give this video a thumbs up to let me know that you hated it as much as I did. And that's what we're going to talk about tonight, is the 116-104 loss the Mavs suffered at the hands of the Donovan Mitchell-less Utah Jazz. Like, Utah was coming in on a 9-game win streak. They have now extended that to 10 games. In that 9-game win streak, they have been first in points per game, offensive efficiency, and many more categories that I can't even get into right now. And so we knew it was going to be a tough matchup. But, you know, when we heard the news that Donovan Mitchell wasn't going to play, and also Derek Favors didn't end up playing this game, Dallas thought they had a fighting chance. I didn't expect to win this one if Mitchell would have played, and then, you know, found out Dorian Finney-Smith was back, Josh Richardson was back, and Dwight Powell was back, and I was like, all right, this team's going to have a little bit more juice. They had the exact opposite. And Dallas lost this game in the first quarter. They lost in the first quarter. When they went down by 13, they let the Jazz score 32 points on them, and the Mavs only scored 19 points. And I have no excuse for that. You know, you guys know me on this channel. If you're a loyal subscriber, you guys know I'm one of the most optimistic Mavs fans you'll find on Mavs Twitter and probably on Mavs YouTube too, even though that market's not quite as big. But there is no excuse for the lack of energy and the lack of hustle I saw from the Dallas Mavericks in the first half of this basketball game. Dallas just let the Jazz walk all over them. The Jazz scored 69 points in the first half. This is the third straight game, which has been nearly a 70-point game by halftime for opposing teams. And now the defense could have been better was supposed to be better, I should say, with Dorian Finney-Smith and Josh Richardson back, but they were still limited. And so one thing I'm not going to do right now is talk about what I saw from Dorian Finney-Smith or what I saw from Josh Richardson or what I saw from Dwight Powell that I liked or I didn't like, because evaluating them on their first game back after being literally locked in a hotel room for 20 days, it's just unreasonable, and it's not fair. So I'm not going to react to them. I don't think there's any reason to. By the way, update on Maxi Kleber. He is out of isolation, and he could be back for the Mavs game on Saturday against the Phoenix Suns. He will not play Friday in the Mavs' second game against the Jazz. Yes, that's right. We have to go up against this team again on Friday night. But Dallas couldn't get a stop in the first half. I mean, Jordan Clarkson comes in, looked like take away the last name Clarkson, move Jordan to the last name, and make him Michael Jordan. That's who Jordan Clarkson looked like in the first half. He dominated the Mavs from everywhere, and it wasn't like he was doing anything spectacular. He hit some crazy tough shots from three, for sure, but also the Mavs just let him run right around him. The Mavs also let Rudy Gobert dominate the entire first half because, you know, Willie Cauley-Stein plays for 3 minutes. He actually did a decent job of stopping Gobert, but he never went back in the game. Kristaps Porzingis couldn't hold his own against Gobert. I'll say it right now. You guys know I'm a believer in Porzingis. He looked weak against Gobert the entire game. Gobert ended up with 29 points and 20 rebounds. He didn't score in the fourth quarter. I don't know why the Mavs decided they were going to play basketball in the fourth, but that's when they decided, and it was too little too late because they were already down by 22 at that point. But the biggest problem I have with this game is not the defense. Yes, the defense was bad in the first half. The offense actually wasn't terrible. The Mavs had 104 points. They shot, they knocked down 12 three-pointers. They shot 46% from the field. The offense wasn't terrible. The offense wasn't the problem. It wasn't the first quarter. Beyond that, it wasn't the problem. The problem was the effort. There were so many loose balls that Utah got to first. Not just rebounds. I mean, yes, we lost the rebounding battle. The Mavs had 36 rebounds. The Jazz had 50. They also had 11 offensive rebounds, which is unacceptable. There was a play in which the Jazz got four offensive rebounds in one play, and they scored on the fifth possession off a Rudy Gobert dunk. That's just a lack of hustle. That's a lack of energy. And I thought, hey, with Dorian back, with Josh Richardson back, with some, a revitalization of Dwight Powell, when you have that new lineup, I thought, hey, maybe the Mavs would have a little bit more confidence going into games. They didn't come out looking like it. Nobody played well in the first half except Tim Hardaway Jr. Tim Hardaway had 19 points. I don't know how many of those 19 came in the first half, but it seems like all of them did. Luka didn't have a good first half. Porzingis had a terrible first half. Nobody had a good first half besides Tim Hardaway Jr. And if he's leading your team, you're in trouble. Like, right there. Like, if Tim Hardaway Jr. is the best player on the floor, you're going to lose the game. That's just the fact of the matter. Nobody had more than... So, James Johnson had 7 rebounds. Nobody had more than 5 rebounds in the starting 5. That was Porzingis. Not a good rebounding night from Luka. Not a good rebounding night from anybody. There was just no effort. And that's the lack of excuse I have. Or that's the one thing that I don't excuse when it comes to bad play. I could make, if the Mavs went out there and they tried hard and they lost this game the way, at the same score, but they looked like wow, I can't talk because I'm so frustrated. They at least looked like they hustled. I wouldn't be upset. But they didn't look like they wanted to hustle. They didn't look like they wanted to play this game in the first half. Now, second half, they started to play. In fact, if you took the second half score alone, the Mavs would have won this game by 9 points. But too little, too late, Mavs. Sorry you woke up late. I don't know what happened. Sorry you overslept. Sorry you had to travel to Utah and maybe you're tired. I don't get it. Doesn't. There's no reason to be able to show that you can hang in the second half and then instead get hung in the first half. That's basically what happened. So just a frustrating night all around. So let me get into the box score, and then I'm going to go into some immediate overreactions, because this is obviously an immediate reaction show right after the game ended. I didn't take a ton of notes. I just am coming out here just talking about what I saw and talking about the game as a whole. But I'm going to get into some overreactions that I saw from some fans, and but first we're going to dive into the box score. So let's get into that now. Leading scorer, guess who? Luka Doncic, 30 points. 6 assists, 4 boards. He did have 4 turnovers, 13 of 24 from the field. Great second half from Luka. I'll say it right now, he didn't have a good first half. He's not the reason they lost, obviously. He had the most points on the team, but bad first half from Luka, just the fact of the matter. Tim Hardaway, 19 points, 6 of 10 from the field, 4 of 6 from 3. Encouraged by him. He's the only Maverick I was really encouraged by besides Luka. Porzingis, 18 points, 5 rebounds, 2 blocked shots, 8 of 18 from the field. You guys know how much I believe in Porzingis. You guys know that. Tonight, first half, first 3 quarters, terrible. Terrible basketball. Didn't make his shots, couldn't get his legs underneath him. I'm still giving him a little bit of slack here because just coming off the injury, I'm still going to be... We'll get into his overreaction here in a minute, but just a frustrating game. Fourth quarter, he looked really good. He actually had a crazy dunk on Rudy Gobert, and he made some nice turnaround mid-range jump shots, but... that shot is still not there for Kristaps Porzingis. Dorian Finney-Smith, 24 minutes, 3 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He was the only one that looked like he was hustling for rebounds, even though he only had 5. 6 points for Josh Richardson and 2 rebounds. 8 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, 4 block shots from James Johnson. Give me more James Johnson. Wessel Wundu, 0 points. Boban, 0 points. Dwight Powell, 0 points. Willie Cauley-Stein, 2 points in 3 minutes. Trey Burke had 8 points. All of those came, I think, in the third quarter. Jalen Brunson had 6 points and 5 rebounds, 5 assists. Do we need to talk about Jalen Brunson potentially being a full-time starter? I don't know, because, again, off the bench, he's just not the same. And then Nate Hinton came in, made a nice 3. Tyrell Terry knocked down a free throw. I'm actually down for more Nate Hinton minutes personally, but that's besides the point. So that's your box score for the Mavs. I'll give you the Jazz, just so you guys can realize how bad this game was. I'll tell you what the Jazz box score was here. For the Jazz, leading scorer was Rudy Gobert, 29 points, 20 rebounds, 3 block shots, 3 steals. Stupid good. 21 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds for Joe Ingles. The Mavs got it down, as crazy as it sounds. The Mavs got it down to 13 at one point, and it kind of looked like they were going on a little bit of a run, and then Gobert went on a basically 8-0 run all by himself. So those were the 2 leading scorers. Actually, they weren't. The leading scorer was Jordan Clarkson off the bench with 31 points. Are you kidding me? 31 points for Jordan Clarkson? That's a versus Mavs all-star right there is what that is. 17 from Mike Conley. He really kind of weathered the storm in the fourth quarter. God, he's so steady. 9 points for Royce O'Neal, 6 points for Bojan Bogdanovic, and then 3 points for Georges Niang. Nobody else scored on the Jazz, but if Jordan Clarkson scores 31, you don't really need anybody else to score anything else. Jordan Clarkson had 20 points, and the Mavs as a whole had 27 at that point in time. That's bad. That's really bad. So I'm frustrated. I don't really have any excuses for this loss. It was inexcusable for the way they lost the game. The Jazz are really good. I mean, they are playing like the best team in basketball right now. They're number 2 in the Western Conference for a reason. They're 14-4. They are a great basketball team, but the lack of energy and the lack of hustle and the lack of effort really from the Mavs is just inexcusable, just disgusting. And again, I don't think this is who the Mavs are. I said it after the Houston game, and I still believe it with this one. This is not who the Mavs are. The Mavs are better than this. The media knows that. I think we know that. Some Mavs fans on Twitter don't know that. Some Mavs fans on YouTube probably don't know that. But this is not who the Mavs are. I don't know when it's going to click, but it's got to click soon because we're getting in desperation mode here pretty soon. Not panic mode, but desperation mode. We're 8-10, 2 games below 500. But we do have an easier schedule coming up after we play the Jazz twice, or the Jazz again, and then the Suns twice. But let's get into some overreactions that I saw on Twitter that I want to address real fast. Number 1, fire Rick Carlisle. It's an overreaction, okay? The proper reaction is Rick Carlisle is making some questionable decisions with the rotation. I'll admit that, okay? I will completely admit that Rick Carlisle is, when he brings Luka in with 6 minutes left to go in the fourth and the Mavs are kind of making a run in between then, I don't understand that. I know it's his rotation, but I don't get it. That's understandable. The overreaction of, hey, fire Rick Carlisle as time's up is ridiculous because you got to give the answer for who's going to replace him. And then number two, if you say, well, just bring Jamal Mosley up for him. I love Jamal Mosley too, but if you bring Jamal Mosley into Rick Carlisle's position, what do you think is going to change? Jamal Mosley learned under Rick Carlisle, so why do you think anything's going to change? Rick is still an elite coach, but it's okay to question him. I'm fine with that. But to say fire Rick, I think is kind of just ignorant because who's going to replace him? And don't tell me, oh, go hire Jason Kidd. Jason Kidd's had his chance as a head coach. It doesn't work out well, okay? So pump the brakes on fire coach. All right, that's not a proper take. It's a bad take. Bad take number two, overreaction number two is trade Kristaps Porzingis for whoever. Maybe listen to him in a Bradley Beal deal. That's a proper reaction. Hey, listen to a Bradley Beal offer that includes Porzingis. That's proper. I'm still not ready to do that. I'm not ready to pull the plug on KP and Luka because if you get Bradley Beal, I think that just leaves more questions for the Mavericks. But to say, hey, it's time to trade Porzingis, he's washed. That's a terrible take. That is an overreaction. Guys, he has not even, he's 8 games into his season as I look up the stats right now? 8 games into the season. I was right. This is his 8th game. It's going to take a little bit of time. Let's be patient, okay? We've seen our glimpses of Porzingis, and we know what he is. And sure, he had a tough night, but just to say trade Porzingis for literally whoever, it's a bad take. It's an overreaction. That's what it is. I'm sorry. I don't care. And the worst overreaction I've seen. The absolute worst overreaction I've seen. Well, actually, I've got 2 more. I'll talk myself through these. I'm kind of just blabbing these out as they come. Luka's going to leave the Mavs. What? How can you say that after it's not even year 3 complete yet? Let's give the guy a little bit more credit than that. I think that's giving Luka too little credit to think he is too young and doesn't understand that, hey, there's going to be rough patches in the NBA. You got to take time. Dirk did it. LeBron went through it. LeBron left after a while, but he went through it. Guys go through this stuff. And you know what? They don't all just leave, okay? So to say Luka's just going to leave, it's dumb. It's stupid. It's bad take. All right? Let's pump the brakes. And the worst take, this was the worst take that I wanted to end on, is to tank this season. To just play all the rookies and say, screw it, we're bad. We're just going to tank the season. Now, here's why it's a bad take. Let me explain very clearly. I'll put the mic right up to my face. The Mavs do not have a first round pick. They traded their first round pick to the New York Knicks. So even if the Mavs tanked, even if the Mavs couldn't win in a game from here on out, they don't even get their first round pick. So I don't want to hear anyone say tank. And the other reason it's a bad take, the other reason it's a terrible take, is because when you have a 21-year-old superstar on your team, you do everything it takes to win the game. Everything it takes. So the Mavs aren't tanking. Let's just get that out of the way. Now I'm probably going to do a whole video on overreactions because I don't think the last 5 minutes of this video even do it justice. But let me just make one thing clear. I am very frustrated. I am extremely frustrated, and I'm not making excuses after tonight. They're bad. It's a bad loss. It's a great team, but it's a bad loss that the Mavs lost to tonight. So I'm hoping Friday they can turn it around. Maybe this was the kick in the butt that they needed to kind of get going, but I'm going to need to see a lot from this team on Friday night. So appreciate you guys tuning in. I know it's a tough one, and honestly, not as many of you guys watch after losses. So if you're watching this video, you're a real one. You are a true hashtag MFFL. And you know what? If you made it to the end of the video on this one, go ahead and type hashtag MFFL in the comment section to let me know that you made it all the way here. Appreciate you guys tuning in. And you know what? It's been tough to say these last few days, these last few games. But as always, type it with me. Go Mavs, baby.